Hey everybody, welcome back. So what we're going to do today on the 69 Mustang is we're actually going to pull the engine and transmission. The reason why we're going to pull the engine is, one, it'll be a lot easier to paint the engine bay with it out. That way I can get in between the engine and get the shock towers all done with the engine gone. And also the transmission is leaking at the shift shaft. So with that being out of the car, it'll be a lot easier to repair it than trying to crawl underneath this thing since I don't have a lift right now. So let's get into pulling the engine and transmission out of the 69 Mustang. All right, so the bumper and everything's off. Now I just have to get, so this is inside on the driver's side fender, and there is a piece of plastic that covers the back of the headlight bucket. There's a bolt, or a bolt there, one there, one up there, and then one also right there. Pull that off, and it allows you to gain access to your headlight bucket itself. This piece right here. So I got the other side off while I was waiting for the GoPro to cool down because it got hot. But yeah, there it is. So you get all your bolts that hold your headlight bucket in. So this side's off. It's got to get that side. Both of them were damaged, so I might end up replacing them or just fixing the bottom, because luckily this one on the driver's or passenger side is just a little cracked right down here. I might be able to tap it down and then maybe use some like metal bond or something like that to keep it from splitting. But the other one is cracked. You can see it. It's right here where it got hit. And that might get covered by the piece of trim. Dash is out, or at least the bottom half of the dash. The pad has been out for a little while. The bad thing is that thing is pretty rusty and they're textured, so hopefully it can be saved with just treating it with some of this vapor rust. Just kind of soak it in there. We'll see. If not, the same guy that I'm going to get the door from and the fender should have the lower half of the dash. And then also, if I need any other parts that you can't get aftermarket, I'll go through that guy as well. But I'll finish up some of the stuff pulled out. That way I can get the heater core pulled and a few other things. That way the whole inside of the car is completely gutted, and then we'll finish getting the wiring harness kind of out of the way. I can get that engine bay ready to get painted and make sure the rest of this wiring harness isn't damaged, because down there where the dimmer switch is for your high and low beam, it has been chewed through, and then one of the tabs for the fuse block snapped off. So hopefully I can get a replacement piece, one of the terminal ends maybe. If not, I just have to like cut it off of something else I got around here. I'm not sure. You can see what I was talking about on this fuse block. See that one right there is snapped off, so I got to see if I can repair it. And then I did have to cut this wire because this was just completely chewed up from the mice that were in the car. So that was really it so far that I've seen with any wiring issues. besides outside on the wiring harness out here, which was for the ram air, or the fake ram air. These were completely chewed off. Those could be fixed too. So I mean, it's nothing big. As long as I can repair that fuse block without having to get a new one. And maybe you can just get, I'm not sure if you can just get that block and take the green plug, undo it, and then just solder some new ends on there or something. Alright, so everything pretty much on the inside of the car is gutted besides taking the steering column out and all that. So next thing I gotta finish up to get it completely gutted is pull the wiring harness and the shifter. And then what I'll do is I'll clean all the seam sealer out of all the seams, because the older stuff just kind of crumbles. And then we'll start cleaning up where it's rusty, treat that, get these floor pans changed out here and probably right there. I might have to do the seat bracket because it's kind of crunchy right in here. So I might have to change this out because I don't really know what's up underneath this. It could be pretty rusty, because how to get to the bolts for the seats is there's plugs and they were unplugged, so dirt and grime might have got up there, and then with it sitting and all the mice in here, it might have just rusted out underneath there. So I might pull this one, just drill the spot welds, pull it out, order a new one because it's a little rusty through here. That one is not so bad, might do the same thing, but yeah, we'll just do all that stuff, get the floors treated, and then come through, seam seal everything, and then take some of that Raptor liner that I like to use. So we'll take the Raptor liner, spray the whole inside of the car on the floor, and then we'll work our way into the trunk and do the exact same thing, get that trunk fixed, and then spray that as well. That way the inside of the car is taken care of for that, besides, you know, new interior and all that, but that's later on. All right, everybody, so we're gonna pull the engine. I still gotta pull the strut or the shock tower brace out of the way, and then get the motor mounts ready to come off, jack the car up. So we're pretty close to getting ready to pull this thing. Did pull the fenders off the front end, so those are completely off. So yeah, I'll set you guys up and we'll pull these brace out of the way, and we're ready to go. So what we did is we pulled the power steering pump, so that's just hanging there. We might have to pull the oil filter just because when we lift it up it might not clear, it might hit over here, but we also might be able to just swing it over to this side more. Motor mounts are unbolted. Torque converter has been unbolted also. It's just slid back in the bell housing on the transmission. The starter's out. The exhaust is unbolted off the manifolds. And then I think that should be it. We should be able to, once we separate the transmission and the engine, we should be able to just pick it straight up and pull it out. So we're gonna split the engine and transmission, pull the engine first, then we'll drop the transmission out through the bottom, probably slide it up, and then we might just have to sling it to get it out of here. So now what I'm going to do is get this thing rolled out of the shop, get the engine bay sprayed, all cleaned up. That way I can get started on the rust repair that I have to do. Also fill in some of the holes that don't need to be on the firewall anymore. There's two right here because those are for a non-AC car. So I'll fill those two holes, and then we'll get this thing primed and sprayed, and then we'll work our way onto the inside of the car. Since that thing is completely gutted as well, we'll get that floor pan repaired, the one over underneath the gauge cluster repaired also, and then also replace these two brackets right here, or seat perches I think is what they're called. And then just fill in the two little holes, or 3-4 little holes, or Swiss cheesy up in there. We'll get that repaired, and then we'll get this thing Raptor lined and put some sound deadener in it, and the inside of the car is done until we are ready for interior. So the Mustang is making some good progress. Definitely looking forward to getting this engine bay sprayed, that we can get the engine and transmission back in the car and get that thing fired up with the new setup, with that new 4-barrel manifold and carburetor and those new headers. I am going to replace the mufflers and put some Flowmasters on it. That way it's a little bit louder and all that good stuff for this thing. So if you guys did like today's video on us getting the engine and transmission out of the car, also finishing up tearing out the rest of the interior on the 69 Mustang, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button, also notification bell, that way you guys can stay notified when I do roll this thing out and get it painted and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, later.